Alright, so this is essentially what we're going to see when we open up the GVM light. I do have the protective cover already outside this box. I'm going to be putting it together piece by piece, and I'll show you clips of each one so you'll get to see the whole thing put together through the course of my video and then see it in action. Alright, so we've got our tripod set up right here. The tripod does come with the camera. It sets up the same as any other tripod. If you have one, this one won't be any different. It is pretty sturdy though, so it is a nice tripod. Alright, so we got a couple of screws here. This one here tightens it to the tripod itself, so we're going to screw that one in first. Get it nice and tight onto the tripod. Now you'll see the camera, or the light is actually facing up. We're going to put this into position how we want it, and then we're going to turn this one right here to screw it and lock it into place. Alright, so now our light is locked into place on the tripod. So because of this being positional, you can put it to pretty much any angle on that axis. And that's pretty much the dropping onto the tripod. Now that we've got our camera in place on the tripod, we're going to line up the slots on the cover holder and rotate it until it locks. In another part of the video, I will show you how it actually locks into place a little bit better than that. It's really hard to film while you're doing that, but that locks it into place. Alright, so what we're doing is lining up that to the slot and then rotating the whole thing to the left, and it locks in place. You can see it's locked. To unlock it, you're going to push this and then rotate it back the other direction. And it comes right back out. So again, in, and then to the left, you'll hear it lock in place. Things in my directions for this light is that it has what appears to be a little plastic cover on this light instead of this part. This is actually kind of confusing to put together if you've never put one together before, and I had not. And since it's not in the directions, I just kind of had to work it out on my own. Alright, so you get all these steel bars, or some kind of metal bars, I would assume they're steel of some grade, and this cover. So you're sticking the bars in to the side of this base plate. You're sticking them in and you'll kind of feel them catch, and then you're running them down through the loop and sticking the other end into this thing. This is going to be very tight, but the easiest way to do it is to rotate this piece. So if you unscrew this, it'll let you rotate it. So I did a few on the top, rotated to the side, did a few more, and just kept rotating it till I finished. This gets very tight. Leave the Velcro flaps open until the very end. But all in all, it took me only a few minutes to figure out. Hopefully with my video, you won't have this issue. And hopefully mine is the only one that's going to come with directions that weren't actually correct for the device. Next thing we're going to talk about is the cover, which just Velcros over the top. So you can see the Velcro here, you can see the Velcro here, you can see that I've already attached some. This is pretty easy to assemble. You just spin it around, attaching the Velcro. And that's all there is to it. Alright, so we have assembled our camera, or our light rather, for our camera. It's sitting on its tripod. We've got its plug in right here. That's the very last step of assembly. Alright, so this only has one switch right here. You can see it getting bright in there. I'll turn off the light in the room here in a second. That way you can get a better visual on how it's doing. It's gonna be hard to see right now, but we are looking at a little skull sitting in my floor. We're going to turn on our GVM light. That's its dimmest setting, all the way up to its brightest setting. Let's see if I can reach up here. Again, that's its dim setting. So even its dim setting, it's pretty bright. Off again, its dim setting. And you can see the reflection in my floor, off the wood floors. So that's as dark as you can make it. Still pretty bright, but a nice color motif. The color is very clean. As it gets brighter, it's a little too shiny to me. So I think we're looking at ideal right about there, at least for, you know, lighting up the skull. And again, that's being controlled right here on the back of the camera with the plus and minus. And you can see how much light this thing is giving off in every direction by how well this knob comes into view when I'm turning it up and down. So when it's on its low setting, so this is still on its low setting, you can't even see the knob. But as I turn it up, it gets so bright that it looks like it's under a light. So this is a really bright light. It'll probably fill out pretty much any lighting needs you need. And it would probably be even more bright if we didn't have this on there, but we're keeping that on there to help make the light a nicer shade.